I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Welcome back, Black America Radio with your host, Rasta B. And this is Friday, June 16, 2017. So we got a lot to talk about today. Today's show is titled Philando Castile and Congressional Baseball Shooting. We're going to speak on both of those shootings, and we're going to speak on the response to both shootings, basically. Guest calling number 646-716-4654. Before we get into anything, I'm going to go ahead and bring in my co-host, Smoke. Smoke, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Man, it was good, yo.
Big Friday, another show in the building, man. Shit, man, I was off today, man, so I was just relaxing, man. Relaxing day.
No, that's what's up.
What's good with you, though?
Supposed to be Tupac's birthday today, right?
Machiavelli. Yeah, no. The film came out today, so I want to see they had a couple people talking about it, like Jada Pinkett and 50 Cent, a couple people, but I kind of want to see it for myself, see what it's about. Definitely won't be going this weekend though. I can't go to I hate when the movies first come out. Yeah, and they box opening, I can't go. Too many people.
I get all that. But salute to that brother's born. Salute to that brother's born day. You know what I'm saying? He would have been 46 today. So that's Tupac. Yeah, the movie came out today also. Yeah, I've seen a lot of mixed reviews. You know what I'm saying? I've seen a lot of mixed reviews. Basically, I take it as any other review or opinions on a biop. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not a biop, a biopic. You know what I'm saying? Like NWA, Biggie, anybody. You know what I'm saying? When you watch it, you're always going to say, yo, we wasn't there. He ain't say it. You know what I'm saying? It's always going to be that searching for accuracy within the story where the person that's directing it, that's really his interpretation and what he wanted to add in to the mix. I seen one part where Jada Pinkett was saying that, the letter that Pac wrote to her, she never got nor even knew that letter existed until it was in his book, where the director might felt like adding that scene and adding that into the story. We got a letter here. What to do with this? What we gonna have him just write the letter and not do shit with it? Let's turn the letter to a scene. You know what I'm saying? So then we get into
the movie
creative. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? The accuracy versus making the movie, the story. So, I expect that. But like you said, I'm going to watch it myself. So have my own opinion on it. You know what I'm saying? Instead of listening to the outside views,
Yeah, pretty
That's
much.
about that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Man, there was a lot of crazy shit was going on in the news and stuff. I seen a lot of the stuff going on with the Russia stuff lately. That was crazy. That whole congressional shooting shit was crazy.
Oh.
Yeah. No, the congressional baseball shit, yeah.
Yeah.
Then I ran across
that was wild.
Yeah. So that was crazy. And then they got the whole shit of the Philando Castile story. I seen that today, and I was like, wow, I wonder how they're gonna try to sell that one. So yeah, it's crazy. It's not crazy in the sense of you shocked that the police got away once again with killing a black man in this country, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like, wow, I wonder how they was gonna, you know what I'm saying? That's my whole thing.
It really wasn't even no spin. It's just like, yo, we not guilty. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, but what really the bigger picture is, it's like when we spoke a few shows ago, maybe the last show, when we was talking about them expanding the laws to where, the cops are not going to get charged in situations like that at all. Like, that's going to be standard. And then them just moving out the laws to include the relatives and, other offenses to be like, assaulting a police officer. Like, if you verbally badger a police officer, that can be an assault. And, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like you seeing that pretty much that's law. The cops, they come in and they shoot and kill in these situations, and they being prosecuted, but they not ending up with charges. So and you're gonna just see in the future where they're not even gonna be prosecuting them. So it's just like, it's crazy.
That's where it's going, because at the end of the day, they're not trying to basically jeopardize the integrity of the little whack-ass police force. So then I also seen the whole shit of your boy Taxstone pleading guilty, pleading out to that the federal gun joint. You know what I'm saying? What you thought about that?
Well, that's just round one for him. You know what I mean? He's still facing the other shit. With the shooting in New York. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that's just like half of it for him. I can't say I was surprised or anything. You know what I'm saying? It's just like prior to, you saw like the documents floating, and they hit him with the interstate commerce and how they interviewed the original gun buyer, and they traced how the gun got from the buy all the way to the shooting, pretty much, or to Taxstone's possession. So I mean, it was kind of like him being dead in the water. I don't think he got bread like that to really go and fight it. That just would have been like waste of money. So I wasn't really surprised. It kind of came out of nowhere for me. I know that they had an interview posted recently, a little short interview with him talking from jail, but it was just like, oh wow, he pleaded guilty. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I think he got more coming down the pipe. So it's gonna be a long road for that dude. You know what I'm saying? But hey, what can you say?
Man, they say notable hip hop pods to Taxstone, real name Darryl Campbell, pled guilty to federal gun charges in relation to the shooting at New York City's Urban Plaza during a concert on May 25th, 2016, according to New York Daily News. Taxstone officially owned up to charges of possessing a firearm as a felon and receiving a firearm and interstate commerce in connection with the incident that left 3 injured and claimed the life of Troy Ave's bodyguard and friend, Ronald McSpatter. Although the Manhattan U.S. Attorney Office didn't charge Taxstone for murder, lawyers handling the case reportedly told Judge Lorna Schofield he brought a firearm to Irving Plaza and fired the deadly shot. Prosecutors say Taxstone's DNA was found on the murder weapon used during the shooting, along with Ave's DNA and McFadden's DNA. The Manhattan District DA's office has charged Ave with attempted murder for his alleged involvement in the incident, but the rapper claimed he was acting in self-defense. Taxstone was originally indicted in February 2017, nearly 1 year after the shooting. Taxstone faces up to 20 years in federal lockup. So that boy pretty much threw his damn whole fucking career, his whole life away to fucking,
over Twitter beef.
Over Twitter beef, but it's like, it's that stupid ass alpha male bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Niggas want to dominate other niggas.
Right. Yeah, because he was bullying. He had that bullying stance when he was, coming at him or whatever. But what's crazy to me is what stands out to me rather is like, that clip of him. It's like an interview. I don't know if it was his show or if he was on another show talking about Taxstone and how he was, pretty much describing what happened before it happened. He was just saying how like he don't play with rappers and if you walk up on him the wrong way, he squeeze in and no questions or ask, boom, 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 like he even make the sounds or whatever. So it's like, you hear that little clip is like, I mean, that's pretty much what it sounds like what happened. I wasn't there, but that's what it sounds like it happened. Like he saw them and he's like, oh, I gotta let loose. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, but hey, shit. At the end of the day, it's like, that's so stupid. So now you got Troy. Now he in his situation. So now he got to face. And to me, I think that's where the real tragedy would be. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a real tragedy. Because obviously the real tragedy is going to be the loss of life.
Right.
So that's first.
R.I.P. bangers.
It's a loss of life for the bullshit. Then I can't put tragedy on Tax because he is the reason for the whole bullshit. So that's just you reaping what you sow. But then the Troy Ave situation would be fucked up because it's like, damn, I'm in this position because you put me in this position.
Yeah.
So now I'm facing charges now for attempted murder, for attempting to murder you because you attempted to murder me. Think about how crazy that shit is. I'm facing attempted murder charges because you murdered my man and tried to murder me. And then when I get the gun and try to murder you, now I'm on the wrong side of the law. After taking 2 shots and watching my man get shot, and then if I shoot back at you, now I'm on the wrong side of the law.
Yeah.
So to me, that's crazy because it's like I have to face an uphill battle in a situation that is like, yo, what other options did I have? You know what I'm saying? What, get shot and then lay down? You know what I'm saying? Like, what other...
Yeah.
Get shot and lay down? Like, what was
that's why I think, like, he, Troy Ave, he probably gonna beat that rap or, get at least some lesser charges, with this guilty plea, happening, I think that kind of helps him out. So, hopefully.
But it's not supposed to be lesser charges. It ain't supposed to be. Remember, that's what the O'Malley dude, George Zimmerman's lawyer, said. It ain't. You can't get me on attempted murder, so y'all gonna get me on a lesser charge, or we gonna plead down to a lesser charge. No, that's the case. Y'all have to prove this. If I can show that what y'all think y'all seen y'all didn't see, then y'all lose the case.
I think he's gonna beat that. But I think he's gonna beat that. But maybe I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? But I thought they found other guns inside his shit, inside that van when they took him to the hospital. So I was thinking maybe they trying to hit him with those two on the side. No.
Remember, that's what police said. You know what I'm saying? That's what police said. Police said the nigga shot himself and shot his man. You know what I'm saying? Police are going to say all kind of stupid shit. Because all they said was he was looking at an attempted murder charge. They didn't say shit else about the gun. The only person with the gun you know what I'm saying, was fucking Tax. They ain't mentioned shit else about a gun. You know what I'm saying? So
if that's the only charge, then he should be looking good. He should be looking good in my opinion. Hopefully. So we'll see.
But again, I mean, shit. This system ain't for us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. My cousin, he beat a attempted murder charge. They found him not guilty of attempted murder, but found him guilty of intent to do bodily harm. I'm like, what? Did you think I was trying to tickle the nigga to death? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna not charge me for the attempted murder, what the fuck is the intent to do bodily? That's crazy. Like, what the fuck is that then? So, and this is New York, so it's not like this is another state or something. This is both of these. This happened in New York. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's like you can't push shit past that system.
Right about that.
Here's another story. Funny story. This is a story going on that these crackers going crazy and shit, right? So I'm looking at the new, just the news and stuff like that. And I run across an article, a May 30th article, 2017, where the title is DNA from Ancient Egyptian Mummies Reveal Their Ancestry. So it goes, ancient Egyptians were an archaeologist's dream. They left behind intricate coffins, massive pyramids, and gorgeous hieroglyphs. The pictorial writing code cracked in 1799. Egyptians recorded tales of royalty and gods. They jotted down life miscellanies too, as humdrum as beer recipes and doctor's notes. But there was one persistent hole in ancient Egyptian identity: their chromosomes. Cool, dry permafrost can preserve prehistoric DNA like a natural freezer. But Egypt is a gene incinerator. The region is hot. Within the mummy's tomb, where scientists would hope to find genetic samples, humidity wrecked their DNA. What's more, soda ash and other chemicals used by Egyptian embalmers damaged genetic material. A study led by researchers at the Max Planck Institute for the Science of Human History and the University of Tübingen in Germany managed to plug some of those genetic gaps. Researchers wrung genetic material from 151 Egyptian mummies, radiocarbon dated between Egypt's New Kingdom, the oldest at 1388 BC, to the Roman period, the youngest at 426 AD, as reported Tuesday in the journal Natural Communications. Johannes Krauss, the University of Tübingen paleogenetics and the author of the study, said the major finding was that for 1,300 years we see complete genetic continuity. Despite repeated conquests of Egypt by Alexander the Great, Greeks, Romans, Arabs, and Assyrians, the list goes on, ancient Egyptians showed little genetic change. The other big surprise, Krauss said, was he didn't find much sub-Saharan African ancestry. The remains came from Abu Sir el-Malik, an ancient Nile community in the middle of Egypt. From the mummies, the scientists extracted bones, teeth, and soft tissue samples. Although Egyptian embalmers removed the brains of the deceased, the scientists wrote that in most cases, non-macreated mummy heads still had much of their soft tissues preserved. The hard samples yield the most DNA, perhaps, because the teeth and the bones were protected by soft tissues, or because the embalming processes left tougher material intact. After preparing the samples in a sterilized room in Germany, the researchers bathed the samples in UV radiation for an hour to minimize contamination. Ancient Egyptians were closely related to people who lived along the eastern Mediterranean, the analysis showed. They also shared genetic material with residents of the Turkish peninsula at the time and Europe. Given Egypt's location at the intersection of Africa, Europe, and Asia, and the influx of foreign rulers, Krauss said he was surprised at how stable the genetics seemed to be over this period. The scientists were particularly interested in the change in ruling class at the turn of the first millennium. First came the Hellenistic dynasty in the aftermath of Alexander the Great's conquest from 332 BC to 30 BC. And then Rome ruled from 30 BC to about 400 AD. And yet the genetics of the Abu Sir el-Malik community appear to be unperturbed by shifting politics. The scientists compared these ancient genetics with those of 100 modern Egyptians and 125 modern Ethiopians that have been previously analyzed. If you ask Egyptians, they say that they have become more European recently, Krauss said. We see exactly the opposite, he said. It was not until relatively recent in Egypt's long history that sub-Saharan genetic influences became more pronounced. It was not until relatively recently in Egypt's long history that sub-Saharan genetic influences became more pronounced in the last 1,500 years. Egypt became more African, if you want. Hold on, I gotta plug up my laptop real quick. Okay. If you want. In their paper, the researchers acknowledged that all over genetic data were obtained from a single site in Middle Egypt and may not be representative of all of ancient Egypt. In the south of Egypt, the authors wrote, sub-Saharan influences may have been stronger. This study left two gaps in the Egyptian timeline that Krauss wants to fill. He said, it is not clear when the African genes flow present in modern Egyptians occurred. Wait, it said, it is not clear when the African gene flow present in modern Egyptians occurred, nor could the studies determine the origins of Egyptians. The other big question is, where did the ancient Egyptians come from? Krauss said. To answer that, scientists will have to find genomes back further in time in prehistory. So what you got? What's your opinion on that read, Smoke?
So let me get this right. They're saying that, because the part that stood out for me was when you said, or they said that there wasn't any like sub-Saharan traits in the Egyptians.
Yeah.
So basically, it goes into oh man, I'm blanking out the book.
Destruction of Black Civilization.
Yeah, Destruction of Black. Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? It goes into his read. So if you go through that book,
yeah,
he pretty much confirms that, that's confirming what he's saying in that book.
Yeah. No, not only does it confirm what Chancellor Williams says in his book, not only does it shows you white people's obsession of where the fuck they came from and what's their story. Two, it shows you the bullshit and when they speak. Now watch this right here. A study led by researchers at the Max Planck Institute for the Science of Human History and the University of Tübingen in Germany managed to plug some of those genetic gaps. Okay, trying to figure out. So there's holes in the genetic gap. They go, researchers wrong genetic material from 151 Egyptian mummies, radiocarbon dated between Egypt's New Kingdom, 1388 BC, to the Roman period, the youngest, 426 AD. This is what I try to explain to black people, right? Maybe in 100 years, black people will realize this. When white people count time backwards and then go forward, when they play that BC game with you, that BC and AD game with you, they're counting their rulership. That's what they're counting. They're counting when they started. You understand what I'm saying? That's why it goes back.
Definitely.
Think about that, folks. That's why it goes backwards in time. You see what I'm saying? Because they're trying to add their fake-ass history into a real timeline. And they can't do it because they're trying to be something that they're not. We already know this. So that's the reason why. So what they'll do is they'll count to where their presence is when they're really doing their thing, when they start to get on their grind. That's like you living in Brooklyn all your life, you move to South Carolina, you start a business in South Carolina, and your business is a multi-million-dollar business, and now you control the whole, you control it politically, and you're one of the top richest business families in South Carolina. And somebody's like, well, tell me about your life. Tell me about your success. And you start talking about South Carolina. But then somebody else is like, nah, we want to hear about Brooklyn, though. And it's like, I wasn't really doing shit in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? But let me tell you right now, where it starts. So my life, and you'll hear people say shit like that. My life really started once I got to college. My life really started once I, you know what I'm saying? So these are people now. They're not going to go all the way back into a certain part of time where they don't feel like they're best represented. So they'll go back to the time where they best was represented and be like, okay, my shit starts here. And then from here, we're going to continue. And that's what white people did. So now they sit there and they count back. This is how fucking crazy the game is. That you got grown-ups, and we're content with time going backwards for BC and then going forward automatically for AD. How the fuck do time go backwards and then go forward? That is a game within itself. You see what I'm saying? That's the game within itself. So now they're showing you when they started to come out with their rulership and Alexander the Great and all kind of shit like that. That's why they're part of the history. Because they're showing, okay, this is when we started to do shit. They don't want to talk about them grunting and not knowing how to speak, walk, and talk. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to want to show that because that's not a part of the history they want. If you think about it and you look at white people's history, their history starts around that Roman and things like that. That's when they like to talk because that's the first time they was able to have a nation. You see what I'm saying? So that's how they talk. So now with the Egyptian situation, they want to talk about the new kingdom. Well, if it's a new kingdom, then when the common sense tell you that there was an old kingdom prior to that. You know what I'm saying? What's another thing that was said inside the story in the article? They said they checked the DNA of 100 modern Egyptians and Ethiopians, right? Why would they be checking the Ethiopian? Because they know that Ethiopia is because of the upper Egypt, and what we know as Egypt is lower Egypt.
Right.
That's under Chancellor Williams. That's why they had to check the Ethiopian. Why would they check the Ethiopian? You see what I'm saying? Why would they check the Ethiopian?
Because of the link, you know what I mean?
See,
in that book, they say they pretty much got pushed down or up to Upper Egypt, you know what I'm saying, from Lower Egypt.
Yeah. And then they sitting over here now, and then they goes and they say that they're gonna say that well, what it says, because I want to see how they do the South of Egypt thing. They go, in their paper, the researchers acknowledge that all of genetic data were obtained from a single site in Middle Egypt and may not be a representative of all of ancient Egypt. So that right there lets you know they automatically contradict their own studies, right? Then they go, in the south of Egypt, the author wrote, sub-Saharan influence may be stronger. Now here's the question. When they say in the south of Egypt, what are they talking about? Are they saying the south of Egypt as what you see on the map, what Egypt is today in the southern part? And they're going to say that part will have more influence and be stronger, will have more sub-Saharan influence because it's closer to the Sudan and things of that nature. But if you follow Chancellor Williams' book, you'll know that what we know as Egypt right now is considered South Egypt. Lower Egypt. Where Ethiopia will be considered upper, and that's where the river runs down to what we know as Egypt. You see what I'm saying? They telling you it by saying things to you, knowing that if you don't understand certain things, you're not going to connect those dots. You know what I'm saying? all they're basically saying is the Egyptians, who they're classifying as Egyptians, just like what Chancellor William wrote in his book, The Destruction of Black Civilization, they were so mixed up at one point that they were too light to relate to the blacks, to the Africans, and it was too black to relate to the whites, to the Caucasoids. So they, in return, said, well, we're the Egyptians then. We're not black, we're not white, we're our own racial classification. All of this we got documented, written down. White people come out and they come with the same conclusion. They'll write down the same shit, and we won't even know how to decipher it. The reason why I brung that up, Smoke, is because there was I want to say a politician, right? I'm trying to find the story right now. I have a little issue trying to get it. But it was a politician sent a Twitter out trying to diss black people about it. I'm trying to find it. Where's that? Yeah, something like they had the I'm trying to find it. It's a damn Republican. I meant to put it on my favorite tabs list, but it's like a Congress dude and shit, and he posted it up talking about we was kings and shit, and we're gonna say nah, y'all wasn't kings, y'all was basically washing up the white people and shit like that, and all that bullshit. Trying to find that shit. But I don't know where that's. Damn, I can't find that shit nowhere. When I find it, I'm gonna read the title so y'all can look it up. But it was a damn congressperson wrote that shit. So I'll find yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go. It was hold on. Nah, this ain't it. This is a blog. Yeah, I gotta find it. When I find it, then I'm gonna read the title, so y'all can look for it also.
Yeah, I was trying to search through see what I can find.
You said what?
I was trying to see if I could just keyword search, but I couldn't find it.
Yeah, I can't find the shit. It was just up on the damn. I seen it on YouTube, and they was talking. And they were trying to diss black people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, y'all was kings, but nah, this article is saying that the Egyptians was white, and, they trying to play that little game and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But my whole thing is this. When you seeing people do that, that's supposed to let you know within yourself their inferiority complexes. You see what I'm saying? For them to sit there now and then once the studies happen like that, the first thing without even talks, it's like, yo, let me go and attack these motherfuckers over here. Why are you attacking us? Oh, because y'all still trying to figure out where you came from. So y'all still can't prove where you came from. So you're now going to try to use your little pseudoscience to try to shoot down black people claiming their lineage to African royalty. But then the study that they showing where they saying that, know they might be more European than African, says all our genetic data was obtained from a single site in Middle Egypt. It may not be a representation of all of ancient Egypt. It came from a single site in Middle Egypt. It may not be a representation of all of ancient Egypt. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then so it's like
fluff they shit up. You know what I'm saying? It's like anytime it's like polling and sampling. You know what I'm saying? Statistics. You know what I mean? It's like the sample size is small, you're more likely to get a certain result. You know what I'm saying? You make the sample size bigger, you're gonna get more different results. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they pulled from one place, they got those results. You know what I'm saying? It's really saying more than that. But if you read The Destruction of Black Civ, I mean, it'll make that article or that finding, more clear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, to make it way more clear. Way more clear. Then they go, the study left two gaps in the Egyptian timeline that Krauss wants to fill. He said he's not sure when the African gene flow presented in modern Egyptians occurred. So now he has to try to figure out when did the African gene flow into the present modern Egyptians, and then wants to know, and he could not study or determine the origins of the Egyptians. Why you can't study the origins of the Egyptians? Because the Egyptians became Egyptians through mixing. And once they mixed down to the point that they didn't relate to the African side or the white side, they said, we are now Egyptian. So they can't get the origins of the Egyptians because they don't want to accept the fact that the Egyptians are fucking black people. So because they don't want to accept that, they're not going to go that far too deep into the blackness. So now they're trying to say, okay, well, it's the whiteness that they have, but, we're trying to figure out how the blackness keep creeping back in it, and then we're trying to figure out when did they even come about, mixing. The whole shit's mixing. And that's going to be the conclusion when white people try to figure out where they came from. That's going to be the conclusion. They're going to realize, oh, shit, we ain't nothing but a mixed down fucking race of people. We're just bred down, just the Yaqub story that Elijah Muhammad been teaching us. Go ahead, Smoke.
They crazy. It's just funny how they will just manipulate the story, man. It's just like wordplay, man. You see it like with Texas Instruments, they changing the lingo in terms of slavery in the books. So, I mean, this is the game that they play, and you just see just this small article, I don't know if you said where you got it from, but, it's just the typical wordplay that they normally use to put things in their favor, you know what I'm saying? And when you know what the deal is, it's like shit like that don't slip by you, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, just in regards to history or just anything, it's just like when your eyes are open, you can't, it's going to be harder to get fooled, you know what I mean? So that's pretty much what that is, man. But, they love flipping the words and love trying to, make themselves look like, great, greatness, include themselves everywhere. So it's just like, we seen that game.
That's the game. They play that game all the time. You know what I'm saying? And we don't get it because we don't look at shit through black eyes. We look at shit through white eyes. You see what I'm saying? I look at shit through black eyes. So when I read the story, at first I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck is this about? So they're like white people, and I'm just like I said, I look at life through black eyes. So I'm like, There's no way in hell y'all can scream that the fucking Egyptians were white when y'all is also saying that white people is the youngest fucking group, racial group on the fucking planet. That makes zero sense. How the fuck is y'all the youngest goddamn, the newest fucking race on the planet and the ancient? Like, that shit don't make sense. Then, on top of that, just to correct me even saying ancient, Egypt is not ancient. You dig what I'm saying? Egypt ain't ancient. Egypt have a mother and father. Well, a mother nation that birthed, you know what I'm saying, that was under her. Nubia, Egypt was a colony of Nubia. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole fucking history. A whole history that we don't know about, that don't include white people, so we ain't never gonna know about it until we start digging. It's the same story of the black woman. Every time I listen to people talk about polygamy or talk about black kings, when I hear that, I say, y'all not digging further enough. Because if you still telling me about kings, you ain't dig further enough. You ain't dig further enough. You're going to start to get into history when you start talking about those queendoms, when you start talking about those woman rulers of these nations, and these black men protecting these nations and dealing in commerce and creating nations abroad. You see what I'm saying? Like, when we get into that part, then we'll have a better understanding of who we are. But as long as we keep on looking at life through white people's eyes, the man is the king, the woman is, you know what I'm saying, second to them, he rules, and all this other silly shit. This is white people ideology we're trying to follow. That's why we can't understand how it works. We can't understand how it works because this ain't our game plan. So we try to put on the shoes and the boots and the stuff that ain't our game plan. And then we always fall, wondering, well, we doing it wrong. No, we shouldn't be doing that at all. We got to dig deeper. We sit here and we stay on the surface level of where white people feel comfortable talking about. That's like getting into the George Zimmerman case again, and then you sit there and they tell you, all right, we're going to start when George Zimmerman was walking back to his car and Trayvon jumped out on George Zimmerman. I'm like, what? Why would y'all start there? Why wouldn't y'all start when Trayvon was in the house watching TV and then decided to leave the house to run to the store real quick? Why wouldn't y'all start there? Why would y'all start when George Zimmerman is walking back to his car?
Because we control the narrative.
You see what I'm saying? And it's the same thing, Smoke. Why would you start history once you got a kingdom and you start ruling? Once you have a mighty nation, now you want to start history?
You make it look good. You know what I'm saying? It make it look good and shit. It's like when you control.
But look, wait. Here's the key part of the whole game. We don't know the origins of these people. Yeah. Ain't that strange? Ain't that strange that y'all been studying these people but y'all don't know the origin? Y'all not original. Y'all not original. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all don't got history. So that's the game they playing, Smoke, with the whole, now you're going to have white people running around and shit trying to take jabs at black people because of this whole Egypt shit.
Oh, yeah. I feel you on that. Yeah. You know how that go.
Yeah, get ready for that shit. Get ready for all that
work. Shit. Always on the job.
Huh?
They always on the job. I said they always on their job.
Always. And that's why it's important for us that's why it's important for us to rebuild our shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Then we can tell our story the way we want to, you know what I'm saying? When you control the media, when you control pretty much the thought processes of the people, you can say what you want to say. And, and that's what it's going to be. Yeah. So we got to understand that. You know what I'm saying? We listening to the news, we listen to the stories, reading the books, you know what I mean, the magazines, the newspapers, our oppressors. So a lot of times, what we hear from there is not going to be in our favor, and we can't be manipulated by that. You know what I'm saying? We got to just have that understanding of it ain't our media, it ain't our stories that's being told. Gotta be mindful of that.
Yeah. And like I said, that's the messed up thing about the whole shit. Now, even in the case where you got the brother in Minnesota, the Philando Castile case, like, damn, how the hell, how you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't even got no words. Like, damn. And then I'm listening to these dirty ass crackers and shit talking about, how you gonna tell the cop you got a weapon and then reach for it? That's that narrative again.
Yeah.
That's that narrative.
That's that bullshit. That's that bullshit.
Tell you the story. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you the story. I was talking to really. Nah, listen. I'm talking to this. Nah, this is what I'm saying. I'm talking to this white woman. We were talking about the Central Park case. So she talking to me about the case, and she's like, "Yeah," and apparently all of them, they was all committing crimes in the park, and they all had priors, but they just wasn't the rapist. I'm looking at her like, what fucking story are you talking about? So I had to correct her, and I was like, they didn't have priors. None of them had prior convictions of a crime. None of them was committing a crime in the park. Like, what are you talking about? But maybe I need to go back and fact check. No, maybe you don't know what the fuck you talking about.
It don't really got nothing to do with anything. Am I guilty of what they said I was doing? No. All right, cool. It don't matter what my record is. Whatever. It's like, what are you just throwing in bullshit. You just throwing in something to cloudy up the story. You know what I'm saying?
But it's to show you how white media works. They like to throw bullshit in. So when the white public hear it, they automatically say, oh, a bunch of black kids up to no good. They must have been. You dig what I'm saying? And so that's naturally in their nature, is to then turn around and want to blame. There's no way this black man could have been innocent. There's no way this 12-year-old black child could have been innocent. There's no way Trayvon could have been innocent. There's no way Sandra Bland could have been innocent, because they will always make sure the story is bent this way. You see what I'm saying? So there goes. A Minnesota police officer was acquitted of manslaughter Friday in a fatal shooting of Philando Castile, a black motorist whose girlfriend streamed the aftermath live on Facebook. Geronimo Yanez was also cleared of 2 lesser charges in the July traffic stop in a St. Paul suburb, drawing an emotional reaction from Castile family members who stormed out the courtroom. And the fact in this matter is that my son was murdered, and I'll continue to say murdered, because where in this planet can you tell the truth because where in this planet can you tell the truth and you be honest and you still be murdered by the police of Minnesota? His mother, Valerie Castile, said, referring to the fact that her son was shot second after he volunteered the officer, "Sir, I have to tell you, I do have a firearm once. He didn't deserve to die the way he did," Philando Castile's sister said through tears. "I never had faith in the system." You know what I'm saying? They said the jury deliberated for 29 hours, over 5 days, before reaching a verdict in the death of Castile, who had a permit for the weapon. Prosecutors argued that Yanez had overreacted and that Castile, a school cafeteria worker, was not a threat. Yanez, who is Latino, testified that Castile was pulling his gun out of his pocket despite his commands not to do so. The defense also argued Castile was high on marijuana and said that affected his actions. Yanez stared ahead with no reaction as the verdict was read. Afterwards, one of his attorneys, Tom Kelly, said the defense was satisfied. We were confident in our client. We felt as all along his conduct was justified. However, that doesn't take away from the tragedy of the event. Prosecutors declined to comment. Castile's shooting was among a string of killings of black people by police. Yeah, so, yeah, that was a crazy ass, I mean, damn, you know what I'm saying? And the funny thing about it is that situation is a damned if you do, damned if you don't case, because we went to a gun class where the guy, the teacher, the instructor said that you don't tell the cop if you got a gun on you. And I remember raising my hand like, that ain't gonna work for somebody like me. You see it? I done seen on YouTube where a cop pulled over a motorist, white dude get out the car, the cop pats him down, see he got a gun on him, and the cop barks on him. And he like, "Why didn't you tell me I had a gun, that you had a gun on you?" The white dude was like, "I didn't have to. It's a construction." Yeah. And he was like, "Oh, you should have told me. You should have told me. I would have blew your head. I should blow your head off," or some shit like that he was saying. And so I'm looking at this shit like, so which one is it? Do you not let them know? Do you let them know? Because guess what?
See, like my understanding of it.
No, but here I'm saying. But here's the next scenario. If he didn't let the cop know, right? And now it's a situation now where, you know what I'm saying, he still get killed. Then it's going to be what? Oh, he had a gun, but he didn't, you know what I'm saying, he didn't say, well, if he had a permit, why he didn't just let the cop know he had a permit to carry a gun? Then when he lets you know he got a permit to carry a gun, you get killed. Why he let him know you had a gun? That's the whole point I'm making. Like, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Go ahead, son.
No, like, if you have the gun on your person, on your body, you're supposed to let them know. If you don't have it, like if you have it in your glove compartment or something like that, where it's not going to be involved in them pulling you over, like you don't got to go in there, you don't got to get anything out of there, you don't necessarily got to inform them of that. You know what I'm saying? So he did the right thing in saying, I got a gun on me. They not supposed to talk to him anymore. They supposed to get him out of the car, take the gun off of him, and then finish the damn traffic stop. They is interchanging, you know, they have an exchange with him. So now you can only imagine that they telling him to do shit. Well, where's your ID? Where's this? Where's, you know what I'm saying? And Gung Ho Johnny shoots him. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, when you look at the live stream, and it's just like, that the craziest shit is he was legal, and he did the right shit. He did what he was supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just showing that no matter what happens, you gotta You got a killed girl, he gets shot in the damn hallway because supposedly this Chinaman he's scared and he got his gun out. All type of violation procedure. What are you walking around with your gun out for? You ain't supposed to do none of that shit. When you look at this case, all type of problems and procedures. So if you say, all right, these ain't murders, somebody's supposed to still go to jail. Somebody's supposed to still have repercussions because these is anytime if a doctor cuts you open and leave a damn tool in your stomach, you might not die, but guess what? You're gonna get paid for that. Anything, it has to be some type of repercussion. You know what I'm saying? And then you say, well, in some of the cases they might have lost their job or whatever, but they was getting funds from the public for their defense cases and all type of shit. So these motherfuckers is walking away with shit. In this case with Philando Castile, they got the officer where he's not gonna come back to work anymore. They're gonna transition him into another fucking job. So he good money. He don't got shit to worry about.
Because this is another story I read, and I'm gonna Google it so I can get the actual story. So I'm just going off the top of my head. They were talking about in Georgia, right? How many cops like the fucker that killed Philando Castile, they would get sent to another job in the hood around black people. This tricky happy ass cop. Or he would then become a school cop, resource cop.
Yeah, because that
he'll
looks
be
like
the one man.
That's like
the black kid.
That's like a when you look at like being a police officer, that's like a knockdown or a desk duty, or you a school cop. You know what I'm saying and shit. But you have a motherfucker who has a certain attitude, a certain persona, a certain way they handle black people, and then now you're gonna put them with kids. So now you see the results of something like, you know, the officer that slammed the girl at Spring Valley High School out here in Columbia. Mm-hmm. So you see shit like that, where it's like, okay, you know, officers now coming in and having that violent element to them and going around kids. So that's crazy, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, going back to Philando Castile, he did what he was supposed to do. So it's showing that regardless of what happened, you know, and my man in Staten Island who got choked out, I can't think of his name right now. All type of policy procedure is broken, but nothing happened. So it's saying that there's not going to be, after a while, they're not even going to even prosecute these dudes, because now it's just really just you know, I can't think of the proper word right now, but it's just a front. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, let's just go through the procedure. Somebody got shot. We're going to put up charges for them. We're going to go through all of this. We're going to bring them through to the trial, not guilty. After a while, it's like, all right, why even charge these people? You know what I mean? Why waste time and tax dollars? So that's all that's going to end up happening.
The sad part about it, though, Smoke, is we're just the victims of the whole shit, but what's really going on in America is there's a fucking opioid crisis going on, and these crackers done lost their mind. Right? That's what's really going on. So in the wake of that, our interactions with police and the killings and gun downs is being plastered on the TV screen. But white America's burning, yo. White America's on fire. Just like I keep telling the show, there's a fight going on, and that shit is between rich, elite whites, poor crackers. That's what's going on. And what happened with us you just have black people. We stuck in the middle like always. We stuck in the middle, trying to pick sides instead of getting out the way.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? We need to be getting out the way. When I hear situations like that, what happened to the brother Philando, Alton, Sterling, and all the others, I always say to myself, where's the black caucus? Where's the black caucus writing up bills and shit like that for black people?
Wow.
These crackers will turn around and they'll get people to do what they want to do. Like, for instance, Donald Trump, he demanded that Cuba return Assata Shakur, a woman convicted of murder of a New Jersey state trooper. Trump made the demand for the return of Joanne Chesimard while announcing changes to Obama-era Cuba policy in Miami Friday.
Yeah. I was reading
you see what I'm saying?
It was also saying, but
yeah,
it was on the article I was reading, was like maybe he was angling the changes he's trying to make in the Cuba shit is like they trying to angle too on some Trump hotel shit. Like they was talking about how they trying to like weed out the competitors from coming in while they're there. And, you know, so,
yeah.
But the main thing that stands out was what you were talking about with, you know, bringing her back from Cuba, you know, bringing her back to the States and shit. So it's like, I think we spoke about that early in our show. That being the, you know, the next step was, you know, bringing her back from Cuba. So.
Because who backed Trump? The FOP.
Yeah.
Who is in Trump's circle? Giuliani, Giuliani, and fat ass Chris Christie.
Yep, I was just about to say Chris Christie. He was on that shit, and he from New Jersey.
Come on,
he was rep of Jersey.
Come on. You know what I'm saying? Come on. And
Chris Christie was speaking
the people
about that a while ago.
I
said Chris Christie was talking about getting us out of back years ago, yo.
Now we've seen it happening. That's why I be saying you got to listen to the shows. You know what I'm saying? You got to listen to them old shows because a lot of the shit that was said, they now coming into fruition. That's what really made me say, let me start putting down these dates. Because in the beginning, earlier shows, I wasn't putting dates.
Right.
So they will maybe they put the dates because I was like, damn, somebody might be listening to this show, not knowing that this was spoke on last year. This was spoke on a couple of months ago. You might listen to it today, and then you're like, wow, they talking about that the same shit they're talking about right now. And it's like, nah, this is old, This old news we're talking. This was a hypothesis back then that now becomes our reality. You know what I'm saying? That's my whole shit. Just like I keep telling people, I be looking at the news, man, seeing what's going on with Trump. I'm like, man, he fucking up, right? He fucking up. But you know what's my reality check on Trump? Every time I hear people talk about impeach Trump, Trump is about to is messing it up and all this other shit they're talking, you know it always make me figure out whether this is real shit or bullshit? About real shit or bullshit?
What's that?
I'm going to show you. All I do is look on the news, and once I hear Trump tightens restriction on Cuba, okay. Trump has a meeting, he talks this. Trump just passed a new bill or a new law here. Trump just, and I'm like, okay, if he in all this fucking trouble and chaos, how y'all just allowing him to keep on passing shit then? Oh, because this ain't what we really know. This ain't what we really think it is.
But see, like, you know what's funny? We always talk about, like, you know, you'll hear, like, black people in the black community, like, we always talk about distraction. You know, that's a distraction because something else is going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll hear that. And so it's like, but we all participating in the distraction. The Russia talks, impeach Trump, you know, this I'm woke shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like we all stuck in that realm of what's happening right now. And, you know, you see the shit, it's like, okay, we're going to get us out of it. We changing the restrictions on Cuba. We doing this, we doing that. So it's like these stories is not talked about. They're mentioned. You're going to hear them. They're in the news. You're going to find them. They're there. But it's like that's not what's being focused on. It's like you turn it on CNN or you turn it on whatever, they're talking about the other shit. And then when you reflect and look at Black America, you know, the voices that speaking that we see all the time, it's like that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about the other changes that's necessarily happening. And what we need to do, you know what I'm saying, is like we just really engulfed in this whole hate for Trump. You know what I'm saying? And we only in that lane of thought process when you're hearing people talk and shit. So, yeah, you know what I mean? To me, it's like, you know, it's like that's the distraction. If we want to, you know, to use that talk, you know what I'm saying? It's like that's what we shouldn't be looking at. Should be looking at building Black America and the real shit that's changing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Because if we don't try to get our own shit together and stop fucking betting on the sidelines between the elites and the crackers, when they finish their fight and they dust themselves off and say, okay, let's go back to being friends, who you think they're going to go and fight? Our black ass. So the question is, are you going to be ready? You know what I'm saying?
And another shit I wanted to... Yeah.
I'm about to say right now they're about to fight, that they fighting and shit like that amongst each other, and it's like, yo, build your shit, get your shit together while they fighting. You know, that's basically what I was going to say. Cause I was going to get into the whole shooting at the baseball, but I didn't want to, you know, let you lose your
Well, I just wanted to say also was like we was just talking about like, you know, going back, I think it was the Gangster with a Y episode.
Oh yeah.
Where we was just talking about, you know, how privatized prisons is you know, the more emphasis of that is coming on under this administration. And, you know, we spoke in reference to, like, Chicago and, you know, how they was going to sweep through, you know, with arrests and, you know, to fill up those jails, you know what I'm saying, pretty much. And so I was just, something that had caught me earlier was, you know, we had spoke about the MS-13, you know what I'm saying, which, you know, is not a black gangs or whatever, but they're doing what they're about to do to Chicago. You know, right now, you know, with, you know, there's a obvious, let's say, like a obvious attack, I guess you can say, with this presidency with, like, Mexicans and, you know what I mean, foreigners and shit. You know what I'm saying? So, like, with they're focusing now on the MS-13 gang in New York. And so, you know, it was 2 days ago on the 14th, they had the story sweeping about 39 members arrested in one sweep. And, you know, it's just that, you know, this average story, police focusing in on them, they go to snatch up 39 guys. And so that's just the example of what's about to happen to our gang-infested communities. They're not going to be on the corners. They're not going to be there in tanks. They're not going to be doing that. When the feds come in, they trying to get 20 guys, 30 guys, 100 guys. That's what they want, you know what I'm saying, to fill up these jails. So all these niggas in the street, yo, wising up because they sweeping through. It ain't going to just be your mans and them who they looking for a body or whatever. Anybody associated with these motherfuckers that they can get on pictures and build small cases on, they locking your ass up and they throwing big numbers. And so anybody who want an example that's happening right now, just look up MS-13. MS-13 gang arrest or, you know, something to that effect. Everybody got Google. Just Google that shit and look at the stories that's going in. Jeff Sessions, and we talked about this on one of the prior shows, you know, Jeff Sessions came in and made an announcement that they were going to go in and eradicate the group. And ever since then, you've been seeing 20 members arrested, 10. This case was 39. So it's like, that's what's going to be happening to us. Once they focus in, they're going to start pulling all those cases, going in, monitoring motherfuckers, and when they sweep through, it's going to be 30, 40, 50. You know, with everything that's going on in Chicago, you probably going to see sweeps of 100 and more of motherfuckers. So, yeah, smart enough.
And guess what? I think it was a Senator Rep King. I think his name was Steve King or some shit. And he already said, if you think black and brown is going to unify against white, black and brown will be fighting each other before that happens. You know that's called? That's called Plan B. That's what it's called. That's called Plan B. You know what I'm saying? We don't listen when these crackers talk. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not even something that should be in the sane man's head. You know what I'm saying? If it's a sane man, that's like right now, if you let's say you got two sons, and well, I got two sons, so I'll just use me. So my two sons, they look at me and they say, "Don't worry, Dad. Me and Ross McConnell, we're gonna work together and we're gonna team up against you." And I'm gonna look at them and be like, "Oh, before y'all team up against me, I'm gonna have cases on both of y'all." It's like, the fuck is wrong? You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, as a sane man, if you hear that, it shouldn't even be a response. You know what I'm saying? You should be saying to yourself, black and brown is going to unify the white? What are you talking about? Like, we're the majority here. No. Clearly, you're not the majority here. Clearly, you do fear genetic annihilation. And that's why hearing that is such of a threat that you have already on the blocks a Plan B for in the case that happens, that these liberals take this social experiment too far and our birth rate do drop that low, we need a plan to incite differences that will cause war between these two groups. That's a plan. And I always say, and where's your plan, black people? If this state representative going to say, Steve King going to say, that before black and brown unify and white get wiped out, black and brown will go to war with each other, then the question should be, black people, is what is going to be your counter plan to that plan? How are you going to position yourself that not only would you eclipse the white America, which is already collapsing, but you position yourself strong enough that Latino or brown America if you will, isn't strong enough to then oppress you. See, we don't think further down the line because we were so taught and conditioned to work and obey and listen to another group of people that we don't even think about protecting ourselves from groups of people that didn't conquer us. You dig what I'm saying? We're not even on the defense. You know what I'm saying, or the offense, or however which side may work.
Neither one.
You know.
Neither one.
Yeah, you know, we need to be building ourselves up and protecting ourselves. We're not. You know. Hey, look, let me read this story real quick. Smoke. This is another story about the trickery of white people. And then it make you feel like you won, but then you got to wonder, what did you win? So this is from the Atlantic. The title: The Standing Rock Sioux Claims Victory and Vindication in Court. They said a federal judge ruled that the Dakota Access Pipeline did not receive an adequate environmental vetting. A federal judge ruled in favor of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe on Wednesday, handing the tribe its first legal victory in its year-long battle against the Dakota Access Pipeline. James Boasberg, who sit on D.C.'s district court, said that the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers failed to perform an adequate study of the pipeline's environmental consequences when it first approved its construction. It's a 91-page decision. The judge cited the Corps' study of the impact of an oil spill on fishing rights, human rights, or environmental justice as particularly deficient, and he ordered it to be prepared a new report on its risk. The court did not, however, order the pipeline to be shut off until a new environmental study is completed, a common remedy when a federal permit is found lacking. Instead, Boasberg asked attorneys to appear before him again and make a new set of arguments about whether the pipeline should operate. The tribe faced a mixed result. The ruling may establish some important precedents, particularly around environmental justice and treaty rights, but there's no indication that the requirements to perform a new study will alter the outcome of the case or even get the pipeline switched off in the interim. So, you see what I'm saying? This is America, yo. This is what I've been trying. This is what trips me out about black people in the Moors and anybody who want to tell me about treaties and shit with fucking white people. If you really read the shit that they say, everything goes back to, yeah, but we still gonna do what we doing. The title says the Standing Rock Sioux claim victory and vindication in court.
Yes.
Okay, but guess what? Nothing's gonna change. Nothing gonna.
They're still gonna be out there Monday drawing that shit. Like.
In essence, this is what it is. There's a dude humping your woman, right? They're humping your woman for a year. You go to the court. The court finally says, you know what, sir? You are absolutely right. That man does not have the right to hump your woman. Now, we're not going to tell him to stop humping your woman. We're going to tell his people to come up with a better argument on why he should continue to hump your woman. And you're like, yes! I feel vindicated.
I got a chance.
I know it was wrong. He should never have been screwing my wife.
Well, by the time you get her back, she's pregnant. She's pregnant with her third kid.
No, not even about that. While you got this so-called victory in court, the dude could still hump your woman. Because we didn't tell them to stop. We just said, y'all got to come back to court and present a better argument on why. Because you never added pregnancy, whether you get this man's woman pregnant. What if you give this man's woman a disease? And what if this man no longer wants his woman? Those are three factors you never thought about, sir. And you need to come back with an argument stating these factors that, what you would do in those cases. It's like, how did I win? How did I win? What the hell just happened? That's America. And we keep going back and forth into the same stupid legal tongue wrestling that they do. And it all goes back to the same shit. Okay, you won, but who's going to enforce it? All this shit they're talking about Trump, but he's still passing laws. He's still changing shit. He's still getting rid of everything Obama did. But they're going to keep saying, oh, look, and this is what Trump did this time. And ooh, guess what Trump did this time? We're investigating. And every time I look at what Trump's doing, he's passing more laws. And I'm like, wait a minute, why nobody stopping these laws if y'all saying he's about, that's like you about to fire somebody from your job, and then like, yeah, well, they said they about to fire me at the end of the week, so take all this shit. And you see the guy just snatching shit, and you're like, yo.
Well, he's still an employee. He's still an employee.
He slipped.
It's not technically
fired. He giving him employee of the month and everything. But you keep telling him that, yo, he gonna get fired eventually. Don't worry about it. Like, fuck out of here, man. I'm watching the action. Now we got the whole congressional baseball shooting shit now, right?
Bang, bang, bang.
So they like the rep Steve Skolaski or whatever underwent surgery today. His third procedure since suffering several injuries Wednesday when a gunman opened fire on Republicans practicing for a congressional baseball game. The House Majority Whip and Louisiana Rep was rushed to a Washington trauma center Wednesday with fractured bones and internal organs damage, according to hospital officials. 3 others, including Capitol Police officials, were also shot Wednesday morning at Eugene Simpson Stadium Park. It was 2 black people and a Latino, a black woman and a black guy. Man, the gunman was shot and killed at the scene after police returned fire. So they're saying what happened was this: at least 21 members of Congress were at Wednesday morning's baseball practice, including Skolaski and 2 U.S. senators. Staffers and family members were also there. Rep. Joe Barton, a Republican from Texas, said his 10-year-old son was there when the shooting broke out. Barton was emotional at the news conference Wednesday, saying his son had 25 dads because everyone looked out for him when the gunfire began. Senator Rand Paul, Republican of Kentucky, said he was in the batting cage when he heard an isolated gunshot. Then a burst of gunshots erupted, Paul told ABC News. At that point, people were dropping. Skolaski was shot around second base, and he crawled a little bit into the outfield. Paul said Skolaski's security detail exchanged fire with the active shooter. These guys were real heroes, and I think without them, everybody probably would have been killed, Paul said. Steve Skolaski is in leadership, and that's the only reason there was security detail there at all. I'm sad that he was shot, but he actually saved everybody's life by being there. Rep. Brad Winstrup, a Republican from Ohio, a medical doctor and Iraq war vet, told Fox News he administered aid to Castile after the shooting stopped, putting compression on his wounds. I felt I was back in Iraq, but without my weapons. Winstrup and Castile was as brave as he could possibly be, he said. I'm thirsty, obviously. You don't know how much fluid he may be losing internally. And then they go on and on and on. But, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Now, these crackers is out here shooting at each other, right? Now,
yeah, they said.
I already said this is a war between the rich elite whites and the crackers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now they out here shooting at each other. This is really how they get down. Because if you remember, that's the whole the Gifford. Remember the Gifford chick from Arizona when the white boy shot her in the head?
Oh, when she got shot in the head. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
The shooter's name was James Hodgkinson, 66, from Bellevue, Illinois. I had saw one of the other articles. I can't recall which outlet, but they were saying, like, they spoke to his brother. His brother was saying that, you know, he pretty much was mad at the Trump election and Trump administration, so he went down there. And he was at, like, you know, I guess some other protest or whatever, and then he ended up going down there to the game or the practice or whatever, and, you know, shooting it up. Another news outlet is saying, actually CNN, is saying that he actually had a hit list. So, you know, he carried a list with a bunch of Congress people on there, you know, that I guess he was going to shoot. They were saying that on the list it had Representative Mo Brooks on the list. That was the only person that they named in this article. What was funny to me was that they said that law enforcement was saying that it's not clear that it was an assassination list, but he came there firing. So I find that to be weird. But yeah, it was a war. He came there with a list, ready to go get who he was trying to get, and you know he was serious about it. He paid for it with his life, but he was serious about what he did, and you know, shooting Scalise. Was shooting him in the hip.
And what people understand, and Trump just sent his dogs out there too. With all this shit about the Russia shit, because like I said, this Russia shit is fucking hilarious. I ain't even gonna lie. This Russia shit is hilarious. This shit done went from the Russians was hacking into the election to now it's a whole nother fucking story and shit, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, he said that he talking to his core group of people. You know, the silent majority, and he like, yo, basically like, yo, y'all come out here and protect me, man. Shit. So basically what I'm saying is, because this is a dude that shot Republicans, the Hodgkins dude, right? He shot Republicans, right? All right. Now, Trump already sicked the dogs out from his side. He did that shit today. So watch, you're going to see some more violence. Because what happened is, after that shit happened, just like when the Gifford shooting happened, right? And Shorty got shot in her head, right? They said the same shit. We should all put down the fiery rhetoric, the divisive languages, and all of that shit. Riling up our bases and all of that shit. And that they did the same shit. They had the white boy Ted Nugent. He out there, you know, he's the cheerleader for all the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And he out there, oh, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna be saying that, and we ain't gotta, you know what I'm saying? We ain't gotta be like that. We ain't gotta be going to war with each other. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Because
them Anglos know it's them. It's a small group of them. They don't got no large group. Them Asians and all that shit label themselves white. All this shit is an illusion. You know what I'm saying? This whole shit is a fucking illusion. And we just get rockabye to sleep instead of doing what we got to do. Now we got these crackers shooting at each other. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to hear black people talk that dumb shit no more about when black people beefing with black people, especially ones with money. And I don't want to hear no more black people talking about, oh, I don't hear Bill Gates running around doing this. Or I don't hear Rolling Stones, this and this group. I don't want to hear none of that shit no more. When you watching them gunning at each other. You know what I'm saying? When you hear that, when you see that, when you see politicians throwing shots at each other.
Broad day at a baseball practice.
You know what I'm saying?
Shit don't get more fucking crazy than that. That's fucking crazy.
You know what I'm saying? That's like, that's like a nigga shooting up a nigga's video shoot. You know what I'm saying?
I'll probably just say that shit broad daylight, get right. Fuck your life. That's crazy. Oh, man. Hey, keep it amongst yourselves.
Yo, let me tell y'all, too. Quick update, right? The savings per family of the United States, I'm looking at the usdebtclock.org, 8,746. 8,746. I want y'all to know that the savings per family in the United States is dropping. And it's dropping fast. That shit went from 10,000 to 9,000 like 2 weeks ago. And now this shit is at 8,746. The savings per family is dropping.
That's fucking crazy.
So I'm going to give you another number, black people, another number to reach for. You should have, remember I was saying before, Smoke, if you don't got $10,000 saved up, you shouldn't be saying shit, right? That number now is 8,746. This is what black people understand. Yeah, and this ain't our debt clock. This is United States debt clock. This ain't our debt clock. You know how the people like to say, you know, if white people is sick, black people got pneumonia. You know what I'm saying? So then that means if you follow that logic, then if saving per family is 8,746, that means black people saving per family should be what, $1,000? Am I thinking too much of people?
Zero.
Am I thinking too high? Am I thinking too much too high with my people?
Yeah, you think
if I save $1,000, how about $500 on average? Yeah. 500.
That might be about right.
500. All right, that's it. All right, 500. But that's the whole game. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what I'm saying. It's like, yo, white America is crumbling. That's why I said we needed Trump. That's why I'm not tripping about no Jeff Sessions. I ain't tripping about none of that shit. Because at the end of the day, if Babylon going to fall, you're supposed to let it fall. Babylon was built upon the oppression of black people. The only way for them to make America great again is the way they built America, on the sand that they built America on. And that's blood, sweat, and tears of people. They don't got to be black. Just the blood, sweat, and tears of people. As long as I can incarcerate, manipulate. Because the sad part about it is, if you play into their isms and play into classism, then you'll be a black person who have no problem going against another black person because you don't give a fuck about racial unity. All you give a fuck about is one. You see what I'm saying? That wealth. Your financial class.
You ain't on my level. Fuck you.
So you don't care about that. Because here's another story right here, Smoke. Incarceration is skyrocketing in rural America. So it goes. As a candidate and now as president, Donald Trump has promised to lock more people up, undocumented immigrants, undocumented immigrants, ding, drug dealers, ding, gang members in Chicago. Ding. I'm going to read that again. Gang members in Chicago. Let me read the whole. President Donald Trump has promised to lock more people up. Undocumented immigrants, ding, ice, ice, baby. Drug dealers, ding. Gang members in Chicago. Not gang members. Gang members in Chicago, to be specific. But the tough-on-crime approach favored by President Trump won't just hurt people in cities. He's painted as urban hellscapes. New research finds that the areas helping drive America's rapidly rising incarceration rate are in rural America. Areas, in other words, that voted for Trump. A new report based on data that until recently remained siloed across the country showed that even as cities like New York and Los Angeles have been reducing their jail population, jails in rural counties think Campbell County, Tennessee, or Boone County, Arkansas, are growing exponentially. These places, as we saw in the election, felt overlooked and forgotten, says study co-author Ram Subramanian, editorial director of the Vera Institute of Justice. There are lots of states engaged in criminal justice reform. They have to cater to these places and pay attention. Subramanian and co-author Jacob King Brown owe their discovery to incarceration trends, a data visualization tool built by the Institute, which aggregates county-level data on the demographics of all the county jails by freeing criminal justice data from the confines of so many dusty file cabinets belonging to state and local authorities. The tool makers have created a centralized, easy-to-sort databases. All right. That's the data part. Let me get into more to the story. All right, they said Now criminal justice reform groups are working to aggregate state and local data on key metrics like police stops and use of force in incidents. Meanwhile, a group called Measures of Justice recently launched a massive database that housed county-level data on things that happens after a person has been arrested. Incarceration trends is based on jail census. All right, so they're talking about that. All right. Yeah, I guess now they're just talking about. All right, here we go with the rural part. Because that's the part I wanted to talk about, the rural part. All right, here we go. The problem, King Brown explains, often comes down to lack of resources. These rural counties are understaffed, which can lead to long delays in settling court dates. They also sometimes lack the funding that bigger cities use to set up the kind of mental health and drug treatment programs that keep people out of jail. But there are more perversive incentives driving rural counties to increase the size of their jail population. For one thing, they can make money off by renting out beds to federal and state prisons that need extra capacity. It's a nationwide problem. About 20% of people in jail on any given day are serving time for another jurisdiction. But this displacement is particularly acute in rural counties. Since 1970, the rate of people from other jurisdictions serving time in rural jails have grown 888%. By contrast, the rate has grown only 134% in urban areas. That might sound like an obscure statistic in practice. It has resulted in some counties building jails much larger than the local community would ever require. And that can lead to even more incarceration of local citizens because, as King Brown explained, there's a dynamic where you could build access capacity and get used to it and fill it with locals. So they showing that in these rural towns now, they're building these jails. They're trying to build their economy basically off of incarcerated people, and in the end result of that, they're incarcerating a lot of their own people. So a lot of these poor whites is going to jail. A lot of them poor whites is going to jail because they're selling drugs, they're using drugs, they're committing crimes, they're violating their parole and probations. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of shit going on with these prisons and with these jails. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I said a long time ago, I don't understand the whole motivation of Barack releasing former drug people back into the community when we don't have the economy to even have these people feed themselves. So once they get back into these streets, what happens next? They're going to fall victim because guess what? There was former either sellers or users who coming into a damn community of people that's selling and using.
All right.
So what are they going to do? Sell, use, violate, go back to jail. Just like one sister in Texas. Obama released her. She back in jail.
Yeah, I saw that. I remember that.
Yeah. Do that with a political prisoner that was fighting a racist system, that everybody agreed was a racist system. But you're going to release people that sold drugs, used drugs, back into a community that now is affected by drugs and with drugs. We don't get these tricks and these traps, you know. But that's how it be, man. That's why you got to go to that YouTube In Black America Radio. Subscribe. Hit that thumbs up. Leave a comment. Maybe answer some questions. Maybe it's something you agree, you disagree with. Maybe it'll be a topic to speak on. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we don't get what goes on is because of how we view it. And a lot of times we're trained to do things with the white man's or white perspective. So when they sell us certain things, we tend to lean their way automatically instead of having our black mind and be like, yo, we've been talking about this already, so your words don't chop our words. We have the words. We have the foundation. Now we got to see, do yours live up to what yours say? When you read white people's shit, they're always going to tell you they don't know, it can't be corroborated, we're not sure, but the title will tell you that they won or they figured it out. It's always like that. So, you know, support the show, support the platform. We support y'all, give y'all the information, give y'all the different insight, the different viewpoint. So when y'all walking amongst these white people, when y'all walking amongst this white world, this white illusion that's created in this world, you can understand that it's an illusion, and it's important for us to rebuild our structure and how we live. But until then, we'll see you tomorrow. You got any closing words, Smoke?
Word, man.